Right, welcome back to the Surly Talk Sports Podcast, the preview edition, brought to you by the TAB and Michelob Ultra. And speaking of the TAB, the punters' prayers have been answered. The exclusive Surly Talk Sports listener bonus cash code is back this weekend. I promised it on Monday. A few people have already been hitting me up. They can't wait for the Thursday pod to drop. They want the code early. Well, good news is she's back. The code this week is preseason, all one word. Type that in, and then you place a first try scorer bet in that Warriors versus Dolphins game. Friday night footy. If your player doesn't score first, your bet loses. You'll get your money back in bonus cash up to $20, which is bloody good stuff. So it's basically a free swing at a first try scorer. Your bet doesn't land, you get your money back in bonus cash. Happy days. Henry, mate, first try scorer, Warriors game. If you were to use that code, I'll run you through a few options here, see which ones you like. So the best backed, Selwyn Cobbo, $9.75. So either way, you're getting a bloody good return. Jermaine Isako at $10.50. Dell, our best backed at $11. Ali Lautawa, fresh off a double, 19s. And the one I don't mind, Jacob Laban, one game, one try already this year, $29. Anyone there tickle your fancy? Anyone else that you think might cross the chalk first?
I mean, I won't be putting money on a Dolphins player first try scorer. So I'm thinking, geez, Hazen Mellors is a chance. Mm-hmm. I do always like backing a centre or a second row because I always feel like they go right or they go left and they throw the short ball first, keep the defence on their toes. So it's definitely an option. I think I'll go with Mellors if I was putting money on it.
Yeah. Love that. That's a bloody good punt, actually. Kid looks good, too, getting another opportunity with AKP out of action at the moment. So get around that. Also, speaking of Warriors, got the fresh jersey on, mate. Head to warriorsstore.co.nz to grab your own. They also brought out this football jersey, long-sleeved. It's bloody good. I think it's quite a bit up your alley. I reckon it'll go good on the golf course. I know you're a big AFC fan. You're heading down to the Derby this weekend.
Yeah, going down Friday morning. Looking forward to... It's actually going to be my 5th Derby.
Yeah, because you're like an AFC... Yeah. You're a Port purist, aren't you?
I am a Port purist. I've been to all 3 home games, and I went to the famous victory in Wellington earlier this year. So, 5th Derby, so looking forward to it.
How good? So what's the itinerary?
Friday morning, go down. Bit of golf Friday arvo in Wellington. Couple of tins Friday night.
Canes
Actually
Moana.
Go to the Canes Moana game.
Yeah, good, man.
Which should be good, so make a good weekend of it. And then Saturday, it'll be breakfast beers.
Love that.
Straight into it all day and then, get to the game. It's a 5 o'clock kickoff, so it's actually a good time.
Perfect. Prime time stuff. And then, Moana game probably clashes with the Wars, but Sky Go season, right? You can.
Yeah, it'll be halftime of the Hurricanes game. So, I'll be able to watch the first 20 and then sort of get the replay of the last 40.
Yeah, nice. Head to the pub, catch the end. Bloody good stuff. Well, speaking of the Warriors, of course, Team List Tuesday dropped earlier this week, and a few things to bring you up to speed on and a few exciting changes for this weekend as well. So 5 changes to the starting side from last week's trial. Basically, our Māori All-Stars lads are back in the mix. Chan's named at fullback, Dalton on the right wing, Adam Pompey at centre, Jacob Laban starting in the second row, and then Tanner Smith gets his start at prop for Demi, who's out. It says rested, was at Wars HQ today. Webby said concussion, so there was that head knock during the game where he took a bit of a knock, he came off, he didn't return, so clearly they're being a little bit cautious around him. Fish getting the rest, played massive minutes, 64 minutes, 176 run meters, game high. He was outstanding, so I don't think we need to see any more from him. Lofiana Khan Pereira, interesting one around him. So his concussion popped up late. He had 2 different tests from 2 different doctors, and one came back negative late in the mix. So they were going to name him on Tuesday to play, but instead he's now under concussion protocol, so they'll give him a rest. The big injury news, of course, Tamaire Martin, out for 12 weeks, and he's having surgery Thursday, which for you guys listening to this is today. So fingers crossed all goes well there, but good to see him get in quick, start that recovery process. They're thinking rounds 11 to 12 he'll be back. And then, of course, that's factoring in getting back up to speed and ready to play NRL level football. So a big blow for us in terms of our half stocks. Jet Cleary got through his first full training session today on his return, so He's close to playing some footy again, which is exciting stuff, but it looks like Chanel, Marata, both ready to go with calf strains for round one, same as Roger with his hammy. So round one, we should be looking all right, but this week anyway, it's Tanner Boyd and Luke Hansen season.
But do you throw them in round one? Like, I know they're very experienced NRL players, the three players you've just named, so it's completely fair to throw them back in, but just thinking with their injuries, what do you think it will look like round one with them coming back without playing preseason for a couple of weeks?
It's interesting. Like, they have been doing stuff at training. Yeah. I just don't think they're ready for the rigors of a full game and perhaps not wanting to risk it with sustained high effort, high intensity efforts, in particular on a calf, right? Like, you don't want that to fully blow. We've seen Leo Thompson, which we'll touch on shortly, but I think someone like Chanel and Marata, you touched on their experience. I think they'll be good to go already. They know what it takes. Whether they start a Chanel or bring him off the bench now that Tamaire's out, maybe that was a spot that Tamaire was going to play that now Chanel might. I have seen enough from Luke Hansen over the last couple of years, and I think most Warriors fans would have seen enough on the weekend to feel pretty confident to chuck the young lad in, and I think he's only going to get better with more time in the saddle, so I'm excited to see how he goes this weekend, but I think the plan for round one, if they're all available, is you just chuck those guys straight back in, and I think Webby's shown as well. He's pretty big on picking and sticking. He's big on established combinations, so I think if they're available, then they will go straight back in, basically. But as we mentioned, those injuries does mean Hazen Mella gets another crack, and I know he's on your bet slip, first try scorer, don't mind that at all. He'll be on the wing. Tanner Boyd, Lukey Hansen in the halves, and another week as Kurt Capewell as our skipper too, which is exciting. A few things off the bench that stood out to me. Great to see Tane Tuapiki back. That's exciting. There was chat he might miss the whole of the preseason and perhaps the start of the season. So that's really good to see, and I'm excited to see as well when he makes his way onto the field. Is it a straight swap for Chance, or does Chance then head into the centres? Do we see both of them on the paddock at the same time? Which is probably something that Webby's tossing up for round one, although the performance of Ali last weekend may have put further doubts in his mind around that. So keen to see when Tane comes into the game and what happens with Chance when he does. I'm also really keen to see these young guys get another crack. Your Kalis Fatiolofa getting another run. We've got Jack Thompson, who's 19 years old, just turned 20 actually, and he's showing all signs that he could be the real deal. Still eligible for Jersey flag. Just on that, 12 of the 13 players that finished the game last weekend are still eligible for Jersey flag, which is crazy. And that's probably when we looked our most dangerous, right? So the depth at the club is so exciting. Makaya Taufa gets another run at hooker, scored that individual brilliant try. Motu Pasikala gets another go. And Rodney Tuipulotu Vea, who's 20, he's 1.92 and 100-odd kilos. Big body.
1.92 m, that's like a rugby union lock.
Yeah, that's a big human being.
Yes.
And every carry last week, he found his front. He never got dominated in the wrestle. He's still so young.
You say 20?
Yeah. So really keen to see how he develops as well. For the Dolphins, it's pretty much full strength, minus the hammer and Jeremy Marshall-King. Basically, every player they have available that is fit and healthy is lacing up. And on paper, it's a bloody good team, right? You got the likes of Herbie Farnworth, Isaiah Katoa, Tom Gilbert, Tom Flegler, Trey Fuller, Jermaine Isaac-Or, like, the list goes on. And this is going to be a great benchmark for us. Listening to the players talk and Webby talk, they're incredibly disappointed with the performance they put out. They were excited around the performance of certain individuals, but as a team, they just thought they never got into their rhythm. They didn't play the style of footy that they wanted to at all. So,
do you think that the team list this week is because of that performance? Do you think that we would have, obviously you can't look back and go, if we'd won that game, would we not see many people this week? But what do you think with the makeup of the team list compared to last week? Would it have been different if there was another result? Because you don't want to chase wins in preseason, do you?
No, you don't. I was, to be completely honest, surprised that many first graders played last week. I think this week was always the plan to roll out as close as you can to that round one team. So I think those guys coming back from All-Stars were always going to slot in. A couple more might have rested maybe, but like I was even surprised Fish got a rest. He doesn't need to play, but I thought maybe just combinations. There's those guys that you just don't need to see at all, right? And you see it throughout the competition, certain guys not playing preseason at all. But yeah, we've rolled out as strong as a team as we can field, and the Dolphins have done that as well. I just want to see us basically tidy up the errors, iron out those defensive lapses that led to some really weak tries, because I know that's an area of focus this year that the lads really want to lock in on. and just a bit more of a polished, silky performance, a bit more Warrior-like. 5 of our big dogs back. There's no real excuses this week. And it's our final dress rehearsal before we host a bloody good side in the Roosters in 2 weeks' time. So it'd be great to head into there with a bit more confidence. And even if the result isn't what we wanted, just a belief in the way we're going to play and just going up a level from last weekend. So excited for that. It's an 8 p.m. Friday night kickoff, which is bloody good stuff. It's at Leichhardt. It's a double header. So we're playing the Roosters in Sydney, which seems a bit weird, but the Tigers and the Panthers are playing after us in a bit of a Leichhardt Oval Friday night double header, which I actually quite like.
Leichhardt Oval hosted Auckland FC on Wednesday night last night, and the pitch looked pretty average, if I'm going to be honest. So, Friday night, double header. It's a great little stadium, though. Great little stadium.
It would be a cool stadium to go to, right? Like, whenever the Tigers play there, the hell of that looks packed. But, yeah, that could be a watch then. Tight turnaround there. So, yeah, interesting one there. And obviously playing a Queensland team in Sydney's wear. But no doubt Warriors fans will be out in big numbers. So if you're heading to the game, enjoy it. And hopefully the lads put in a bloody good shift. In terms of other games, Friday morning footy this week.
The challenge.
Yes, I'm actually excited for this.
It's a good time, actually, for the Kiwis, too.
It's a great time. 8:30 a.m. It's probably not normally a game that I would watch, but with all this drama around Payne Hakeem Haas, around the Broncos in general, and just the time slot of a Friday morning, 8:30 a.m.
It's a very good time.
It screams breakfast beers.
Yeah, it does.
And like when the Warriors win the comp this year and we're in that game next year, you best believe it'll be breakfast beers, 100%. But Broncos taking on Hull FC in the World Club Challenge. They're massive favourites at the TAB, $1.20. And when you look at the lineups, it's pretty clear to see why. Like Payne Haas at the back, Ben Hunt at hooker, Ezra Mam, Adam Reynolds, Payne Haas, Paddy Carrigan. It's a pretty top shelf Broncos team. There were 2 names on the extended bench I was surprised to see not in the 17, and Allblix, Tuffa and Xavier Willison, both currently in my first draft fantasy team.
So that has to change then.
Yeah, and I was hoping that Allblix would be a bit of a cash cow for me.
Yep.
So I'll be interested to see how he goes, because there was chat around him starting in the second row. Close fans might remember him from the Dolphins last year. He started a bit of a scrap early doors in one of the games, and apparently Madge loves the bloke because he's extremely aggressive. So keen to see how he goes. But yeah, when you look at this Hull team,
Peter Hiku.
Yeah, Peter Hiku, Tyrone May.
Yeah, good.
So there's some names of players from yesteryear in there, from the NRL for sure. So my heart and head says Broncos by plenty, but then the Panthers have lost the last 2 World Club challenges.
How good would it be to see Peter Hiku take on the Broncos and just like beat them up?
Oh, imagine if he just does a number on them.
Just does a number on them.
Breaks the line, razzle dazzle, 1-on-1 on Reece Walsh. I tell you, Peter Hiku can still play, man.
But apart from that, in the Hull lineup, I mean, the Broncos really should be getting this done.
Yeah, I think in the past, the Panthers have been guilty of perhaps not taking this game as full squad or as seriously, or they've had the World Club Challenge, then gone to Vegas, things like that, right? Whereas the Broncos are over there taking it seriously, flew business class, must be nice. And
went to a Chelsea game on Monday.
Did they?
Yeah.
Yuck club. But hey, they've been there for a while, acclimatising. I think they'll be up and ready. And this is their their one proper hit out really before the season gets underway. So any Madge team, I don't think would ever take any game lightly. Tigers, Panthers, that's the second game on your Friday night following our game. A couple points from that. Young Makasini appears to have got the vacant wing spot in the Tigers. 250k on NRL Fantasy. He's a great buy. He's 18 years old. Speaking of tall, he's 1.92 m, 105 kilos. He's a winger. They're calling him Brian To'o 2.0.
Except he's a lot taller than Brian To'o.
A lot taller. Scored a hat-trick on the weekend in pre-season. Made his debut last year. He's 1 from 1 in terms of tries, so he could be a good little anytime try scorer, but also great fantasy buy. They've got massive raps on him. Kid's a gun. Adam Dewey at 7. Jerome Luai at 6. So there was a bit of chat around what jerseys they would wear. So clearly Luai going back to his preferred position where he played his best footy for the Panthers. And no Terrell May, but Bunty Afoa.
Big Bunty.
Gets the start in the A. I'm stoked to see this because he was just over there on a development deal. Yeah, he went over there on not a training trial, but like a wider squad development deal. So there's chat. He's lost about 10 kilos in preseason. He's looking fit. Obviously, when Terrell May comes back, that'll probably push him to the bench, but great signs from Bunty, and I'm keen to see a trimmed-up back fence Bunty just rip in, that's for sure. For the Panthers, speaking of Warriors, Kalani going at 12, Freddie Lussick in the 14 jersey, Moi Moi and Tommy Ale on an extended bench. Also starting in the centres is Paul Alamotti. That's because there's no Casey McLean, but something to watch there too. I assume he'll move back to the wing. Tom Jenkins will drop out, but yeah, keen to see these Warriors lads rip in particular Tommy Ale. I reckon he could be a great buy for the Panthers. At times, their prop rotation just looked one short since they lost Fish, but imagine a Moses Leota into a Tom Ale 1-2 punch. That would be pretty bloody prolific.
Just quickly on the West Tigers, Kai Pierce-Paul as well in the second row. That's quite a good signing for them. I feel like that could actually add some oomph to their back row.
I rate it. I feel like he has a great offload game and can play a bit of Raz, but at the Knights wasn't really allowed to do it because their attack wasn't up to much. They just used him more as like a big body battering ram. Whereas I think Benji, and with this Tigers team, like on paper, it's actually pretty exciting, right? It is. So they've got some attacking threats there, and I'm keen to see how he goes because he had massive raps on him when he came across, and he's been good, but there was chat he was going to be great. So let's see how he goes at the Tigers. Panthers are $1.28 favourites there. I do think the Panthers will win, but Tigers, decent team for sure. Saturday, Sharks, Raiders, first game of a triple header. Sharks, $1.38 favourites because they've gone all out. They've rolled out the big dogs for sure. For the Raiders, no Tapane. He's not going to play any preseason. Neither is Ethan Strange, Ethan Sanders either, which I found interesting. They're going to head in with a young halves duo that's never played a game together into round one. Ricky Stewart's been pretty vocal around like preseason and that he doesn't really rate them, but if I was those two in particular, I'd be wanting to get some reps out there. KO Weeks is going to go in fresh too. No big papa. So, yeah, the Raiders potentially going in a little undercooked, which will be an interesting watch in round one. I think the Sharks will be too good there. They've got everyone. Roosters, Eels, speaking of having everyone, geez, the boys from Bondi. Old Nick Politis.
They're not short, are they?
Mate, the salary sombrero in full effect in the final game of preseason. $1.57 favourites. DCE and Sam Walker, our first look at that combo. DCE in the 6, but apparently he's been doing all the talking. So that to me just screams of I want to keep Sam Walker happy. Let's let him wear the 7 type of play.
But then DCE will do the first receive on-field type. Yeah, it's an interesting one because DCE wouldn't be your typical running 6.
No.
So
Walker probably is more.
Walker is more your running 6. So it'll be interesting to see how they actually do line up because you do often see the one named in the 6 and one named in the 7, but it's just not that at all.
It's the complete opposite, right? Yeah.
So we'll see.
Yeah, that will be interesting. Also, Reece Robson gets his first run as a Rooster, so a pretty new look spine there. And Nafahu White gets to start at prop, used a lot off the interchange for the Roosters and the Kiwis last year, so he could be a great fantasy buy too. I was licking my lips when I saw that. Big Nafahu White fan. For Parramatta, then you have combo is on show as well. Jonah Pezzett linking up with Mitchie Moses, and life after Lomax begins with Bailey Simonson getting his spot on the wing too. So interesting watch there. Then 2 more games. You got the Storm taking on the Titans. Storm $1.30 favourites. I was actually really impressed with the Titans last week. Under-strength team, better strong Dolphins team, but it was more their style of play. Like, it wasn't Titans-like at all. Normally they're razzle-dazzle, fuck-it footy at its finest. They just throw stupid offloads, score plenty of points, but concede plenty. I thought they actually looked like they changed the way they play. And we get their first kind of look at this Brimson at 6, Jaden Campbell at 7, Keanu Kinney at 1. They're sticking with the 3 fullback hybrid roster that they've been running, so keen to see how that plays out. And then for the Storm, really keen to see Moses Leo get a trot on the wing. Obviously, New Zealand 7-star, Great Harbour Heat man, played for Taka, but we won't judge him off that. Westlake lad, most importantly, but went across there last year, struggled with injuries, looked really good last week in pre-season. No Xavier Coates, don't know if that's an injury or what the go is there, but if he can get an opportunity to lace up, then really keen to see how Moses goes. And then Sunday, just the one game, Bunnies, Manly. Bunnies, first look at this exciting roster for them. Jai Gray at the back, Latrell in the centres, Jack Wyden in the other centre spot. Brandon Smith named to start at 9, which I found interesting. I thought they might have used him off the bench as a bit of a utility role, but he's going to get the start. David Fafita in the second row, Cam Murray 13. Yeah, they are stacked, and I'm really keen to see how it looks actually on the field, not just on paper.
Xavier Coates is an Achilles issue.
Oh.
On the website, it says return date to be confirmed.
Shit, that could
So I'm not sure, how did he finish last year? I don't remember.
He was healthy.
Yeah.
He was healthy. He played in those finals. So...
It's interesting. It doesn't really say anything. Oh, Xavier Coates, here we go, was scheduled to miss the early rounds of the season. However, an updated timeline has not been yet provided.
So there's a spot there for Moses Leo if he can own it.
Currently, I mean, Xavier Coates is a player that they could just chuck straight in, but it's an Achilles one, which is a bit niggly. So,
especially for a player like him, right? Aerial threat, that's his biggest asset. To be able to pull off explosive jumps and stuff like that. You see it all the time in basketball, like Achilles can go at any moment. So, yeah, exciting times there for Moses, which will be good. The final talking point for me around the NRL this week has to be this Leo Thompson injury. And I had the tinfoil hat on the other day, conspiracy theory. I was saying that he probably just picked up a tiny niggle, and because that All-Stars game was played in the preseason, they pulled him from there. Well, shit was I proven wrong. 10 weeks he's out for, grade 3, calf tear. And I'm actually pretty gutted. Like, I'm not a big Dogs fan by any means, but I was really excited to see him play there, just because I think as a player he's a great watch, Kiwi lad, and I think he would have just given that last hit that Bulldogs pack needs to go to another level. An aggressive middle forward. They've been light on props in the past, but 10 weeks is a bloody long time. And the Dogs, for me, are last year's success story that I could see going wrong. They are a monitor.
Well, they are now with the Burton injury as well.
Yeah, well, apparently he's going to be good to go. Gus Gould, I love how his Twitter has become like the official club updates for injuries. So he tweeted the Leo Thompson thing before the club announced it, and then he tweeted that Matt Burton's scans came back fresh on a plane to Vegas.
Yeah, but that's all well and good, right?
Yeah.
But if you pull up in a game with a calf niggle, right, you go off, scans say no good. Yeah, all good, but then when you get on the plane and you get off in Vegas, not even that. It's like when you get into training even, you might go, oh shoot, this doesn't feel right. And then you get into the game, make one sprint and you're gone.
Yeah.
So it's a niggly one, right?
A 20-odd hour or 15-odd hour flight isn't ideal, right, when you're struggling from a hamstring.
I'm not saying he's going to get injured, but I'm saying that it just doesn't seem as whoop-de-doo as it's kind of come out as.
And to me, like, if you lost him, no Mitch Wood there either. Their halves, it's a spine of Bailey Haywood and Lockie Galvin and Connor Tracy, which doesn't excite me that much, and then you could see them almost dropping out of the 8. I think they're going to be there or thereabouts, but a couple injuries to me, and they're probably the team in the 8 that is one of the least susceptible to these injuries. So, yeah, an interesting watch there, but that's kind of your NRL action this weekend. Some good preseason games that actually feel like in-season games, so it's a great time to really rip in this weekend.
I'll have to try get my top 8 sorted.
Yes.
Is it next week?
Next week.
Next Thursday?
Yeah, I did one today, a draft, and I'm not confident on it. There could be a few tweaks.
Yeah.
It's hard, though. There's a few teams, right, where you
got to
have
see
them
the
in
lineup,
5th, and then 2 injuries, and they could be 13th.
But when we were discussing it, the 5th could have been 9th, and the 9th could have been 3rd. Yeah. Like, it's really interchangeable, so...
I reckon from 5th to 13th, there's going to be 2 to 3 wins separating them, which makes for an exciting comp. Super Rugby, mate. We've got some team lists. We've got some big games this weekend too.
Yeah, there's some big games. We'll start with the Hurricanes. We'll go through some of the team lists, just the most important things. Hurricanes haven't named a team yet, obviously, because last week they didn't play.
Yeah.
So Xavier Numia, Asafa Amoa, Warner Durns gets the nod. Excited to see him rip in?
Yeah, I am excited to see him rip in. As we said, first game for the Canes, but an experienced player, played a lot at international level. Hometown lad, using his sabbatical to come to New Zealand, which is rare, and I think he'll add a massive impact to their second row.
Loose forward trio, Devon Flanders, Peter Luckeye, Braden Yosse, one of the best in the competition, in my opinion, that loose forward trio.
I love watching Braden Yosse play, and I love watching Devon Flanders play. I feel like both of them are really underrated. No Duplessis Karefi then?
Nah, it's calf niggle, couple weeks. Ooh. He's been posting on Instagram. Looks like he's ready to go.
He's building like a deck or something, isn't he?
Yeah.
He's built like a brick.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to run at him.
No, I shook his hand the other day. Almost left with a fracture, eh? No good.
Brett Cameron's at first 5. Ruben Love is 4 to 6 weeks, that injury.
Wow.
Which is sort of expected when you're in a moon boot sort of
Yeah, because he put on his Insta like nothing big, I'll be back soon. But
I guess 4 to 6 weeks, if you're expecting to be back in round 4, it's not too big, right?
True.
But yeah, that's that. So Brett Cameron starts there, and then Geordie Barrett at 12, he'll captain the side, and then the back 3 of Josh Morby, Fihi Finyi Nafo. Is that how you say it?
Yeah, Vinianganofo, I think.
Yeah, there you go.
I think his younger brother or cousin played for the Dolphins on the weekend.
Right.
Leaguey.
And then Callum Harkin at fullback, Josh Morby on the right wing. So that's an interesting lineup. And then off the bench, Tavita Mafaleo, Brad Shields, and then the 1-2 punch of Cam Roigard and Billy Proctor.
Oh, I was going to say, no Billy, no Roids, but there you go, off the bench. First hit out, to be expected, I guess, right?
Probably the right decision. Moana, we won't go in too deep, but they've made a lot of changes. 7 debutants there from the Fiji.
Shit.
And their bench reads a little bit, sort of tells you what it is. Miracle Failangi on the bench, William Havili, Tavita Offa. So their main players sort of are on the bench.
Wow, okay.
Which is a bit of an interesting one because I would have thought they've sort of maybe looked at this game and gone,
Yeah, this could be one we could get, right? Like Hurricanes early in the season, bit of rust. Their last preseason game against the Chiefs 2 weeks ago, they didn't look great. You'd expect them to step things up and be a whole lot better. But yeah, if you're going to go to Welly and knock them off, this is probably the week to do it. At the same time, are they factoring in like coming from Fiji?
I think it's probably the right call.
Yeah. Yeah, it probably is. And off the back of a grueling preseason and things, part of you says it's early days in the comp, so go for it. And part of you says you got to play the long game, right? But yeah, $1.12 favourites, the Canes, $5.75 Moana. I think the Hurricanes win. Initially, when I thought it was going to be full strength Moana, I was looking at the line, which was 12.5, and thinking maybe Canes 1-12 would be the way to go. Moana obviously going to look to finish well, but so are the Canes with Roigard and Proctor. So, yeah, I think the Canes get the job done there and kick us off with a dub.
Next one is Waratahs, Fiji and draw. We won't go through that lineup too much. But Ioane Moananu,
yes,
Crusaders hooker from last year, young player from Counties/Auckland. He's on the bench for make his first Waratahs thing, so he's in that lineup. Then we'll move on to Saturday afternoon, Highlanders Chiefs. Also, sad news about Angus Ta'avao and his youngest son. Condolences to him.
Oh,
it's
massively.
very sad.
Heartbreaking, eh? I wasn't too aware of the situation, saw the Instagram post, and it's one of those ones where your eyes just well up reading it, eh? So, yeah, love goes out to Angus and his family. Horrible news.
Ethan de Groot stays. Jack Taylor, Ethan de Groot comes into the starting lineup from last week.
Yep.
Some unchanged, really. Falau Fakatava, Cameron Miller will continue. Tavatava Nawai, Caleb Tangitown, Jacob Ratamatavuki, Nipkin. So pretty much unchanged there. Did you like that sort of makeup of Cameron Miller and Fakatava last week?
Yeah, I did. I think Falau is often overlooked, right? And all the chat was pledge her out, that sucks type of thing. But Falau, like, people forget the levels that he's played throughout his career, and he's probably a bit of a leader down there now. So I do like that duo.
And then we go to the Chiefs lineup where they've made a couple of changes. They've introduced 4 All Blacks.
Must be nice.
So Samisoni Takiaho in the front row, Josh Lord, Tupavai continue. Loose forward trio is the same. Xavier Rowe, who did come off with an injury, but he seems to be okay. Josh Jacob. Then Leroy Carter starts on the left wing. Kyron Taumui Falau on the right. And then Etienne Nano Satura at the back. Quintapai and Daniel Rona still in the starting lineup. But then we go to the bench, and this is where the All Blacks come in. Imoni Narawa and Simon Parker.
Love that.
Back. So reintroduced. So
Simon
that's
Parker,
good.
chartered accountant, back playing for the Chiefs. So no Wallace.
Now, Wallace is still 2 to 3 weeks away, apparently.
Right. Samapeni Finau.
He's concussion, which is an interesting one because he finished the game.
Yeah, he did. And I think you mentioned on Monday, like, he's one that needs a big season,
yeah,
right? So he'll be a bit gutted about that. This is an interesting game for me, eh? Like, at time of recording, Landers 350 and the line is 9.5. There's no Damian McKenzie still for the Chiefs at all. I don't know, the Landers at home under the roof after knocking off the Crusaders. I'm not saying back them to win, but 9.5? That's a decent head start. And if you get on the Chiefs 1-12 at 290, like 13 plus is the best backed. I don't think you roll down to Dunedin and pump the Landers. So.
Oh, week.
So the zoo will be even busier than last week if they can make it through to Friday night because it's a week full of
Saturday
night, because it's a week full of festivities, isn't it? So Chiefs 1-12, Landers plus 9.5. Either of those tickle your fancy, I'd be jumping on.
It's one of those ones where you feel like that you know the result, but you don't know how close it's going to be.
Yeah.
So,
or it wouldn't shock me if the Landers won either.
Then we'll move on to 9:30, the Blues versus the Force in Perth, and they've dropped my boy Torian Barnes.
Crazy.
Wow, dropped.
Do you
some
think
would say
maybe
impact.
they've heard how much you're gassing him up, and he's heard it, and they just want to keep him level-headed?
Could be that.
Yeah.
But he's on the bench. Anton Segner comes in. Ofa Tuangafasi also goes to the bench.
Yep.
Sam Darry out with a concussion. What did you think of him last week?
I thought he was pretty good. Obviously, there's a massive hole there with Paddy T gone, and Darry a different type of player, but he's a big body and he's skillful, and he's another one pushing for that All Blacks jersey, right? And while Holland's out, he's going to want to make hay, because they're not similar style of players, but they probably get viewed in a similar light. So I want him to have a big Super Rugby season, because I thought for the All Blacks when he played, he was really good.
Yeah, it's a pretty disappointing start, because you kind of want to get going. He only played the first half. I think he maybe would have played 60 to 80 minutes.
Yeah.
But
it must be frustrating, eh? Like, first game in.
Head knock too.
Yeah, because you want to build your rhythm. You've had a long preseason. You're so excited to play. You want to get a base under you and then build into the season, and it happens straight away.
Kurt Eklund comes onto the bench.
Love it.
And then also Shea Clark is the lock cover on the bench, which is an interesting one. He hasn't played too much lock.
Nah, more a skillful loose forward, right?
So they've got Shea Clark on the bench as well as Torian Barnes on the loose forward. So a little bit of a 1-2 punch there. But then we'll move on to Sunday afternoon. Good time.
Yes.
3:30 on Sunday afternoon at Apollo Project Stadium. Fletcher Newell comes into the lineup for the Crusaders. Lester Whanganuku goes to the bench.
Interesting. Have they gone with a 5? What's the split? Is it a 6-2? Is it a...
Nah, it's a 5-3.
Interesting. Okay. Because there was a lot of chat that might be down the line. Leicester didn't have his best game last week. I think far from his best game. One of his worst games, to be fair. But such a quality player that's a big call to make. I'm assuming Will Jordan's back then. Shea Fihaki on a wing?
Yeah, Will Jordan goes to fullback. Shea Fihaki moves from fullback to the right wing, and Sevu Reece goes from the right to the left. So a bit of a reshuffle there. Still a very strong side. Noah Hotham, Rivers Rehana as well. Jamie Hanna also I thought was good last week.
Yep.
And it's good to see Ethan Blackadder string 2 games together.
Bloody oath it is. He was fucking good, and he only knows one pace, and that's rip in. So it always makes you extremely nervous, but I'm stoked that he is good to go. Got a little Super Rugby multi for you here. It's nothing crazy, but it's paying $6.10. I'll run it past you. TARS 13 plus over the drawer at $1.90. This is in Sydney. I was surprised you get $1.90. The drawer looked pretty woeful last weekend. TARS stack, so I reckon they'll get up. I've got the Highlanders plus 9.5, the Blues head-to-head, and the Crusaders head-to-head. I don't feel like that's 4 crazy results to get $6.10. I don't mind that at all.
Yep, agreed. There's some value around. You've just got to sort of... I mean, it's really hard to pick, which is what you want, although the odds suggest that there's some 112s and some 128 values, but I think there's actually some tight games there.
It's the derby games that worry me, the NZ games. Do you think we're potentially underestimating these Aussie opponents? Like Crusaders $1.30, Brumbies $3.40. Brumbies are always good, but I think coming over here is another step up, right?
I'm not sure how many games the Crusaders would have lost back-to-back in the last 10 years, so I think that also could play a factor. I mean, if anyone's going to beat the Crusaders in New Zealand, it's probably the Brumbies.
Yeah.
So, yeah. One more thing with Super Rugby, Dalton Papali off to France.
Oh, yes. I did see that, and I saw... Stern Vern's words around it. Did you see the quote that he dropped? And it was a bit of a warning shot to New Zealand rugby. He said, I think we should be worried and need to have better alignment, better conversations, and earlier conversations with players such as Dalton. He felt he had more to contribute but wasn't invited. So he made a decision to move, joining guys like AJ Lamb and Hoskins.
It's an interesting one because there was also the quote there. I'm not sure whether you just mentioned that there, but he could have been the All Blacks captain or something like that. Because also, if you think now that Jamie Joseph's going to get the role, Jamie Joseph's All Blacks 15 captain was Dalton Papali'i.
Yeah.
So there's also that. So if it's Jamie Joseph, Dalton probably definitely had a part to play in some sort of way. So, I mean, but clearly the decision was made before.
Yeah, surely New Zealand rugby would be like, Dolts, don't leave. Jamie Joe's going to get it. Or Jamie Joe would be ringing Dolts saying, don't
But
leave.
Razor, they didn't understand. They knew that the Razor thing was happening.
Yeah.
He signed the deal then when Razor, because he wasn't getting a look in with Razor.
Yeah. I find it interesting too. That's a quote coming from a coach that is going offshore to the Reds, right?
Yeah.
So maybe there's a bit in it around him too, being like, look, we've kind of been here wanting to be used and we haven't been used. So yeah, sad to see Dalton go. 9 or 10 years in the Blues. He's been a great servant to that jersey, won a championship. So I guess he's kind of ticked everything he's wanted to do. New baby, time to make some money for sure, but I still think he has more to give.
Because if you think about it, when you're 28, 29, which age he is, if you're thinking he probably thought he had more to give, but at the end of the cycle that Razor was in, which he thought he wasn't going to get a look into, he was going to be too old to then get another contract with the Blues, so he thought he'd actually just branch out and go.
Yeah, and when you look at these young guys coming through as well, right? Like if you're a 31-year-old on the fringe or a 22-year-old up-and-comer, they're going to go the up-and-comer, right? Especially at the start of a 4-year cycle, like you said. So 100% makes sense, and he joins guys like Harry Plummer in that, who, to be fair, probably a similar situation. I think Harry's a little bit younger than that, right? But it's tough for those guys on the fringe because after a while, I guess that All Black dream and the lure of the jersey starts moving further down your priorities, and you're like, right, I've got a window here where I need to make some coin, and I'm sure that French club would have paid plenty to get Dalton there.
Where are you at with Super Rugby at the moment after round one, and also with the restings of players? Because Beauden Barrett's fit, Leroy Carter last week was fit but didn't play. Simon Parker clearly was fit. So where are you at with Super Rugby? Two-part question. Where are you at after round one, and sort of what's your thoughts on the restings?
I thought round one was pretty exciting. So I was excited for this weekend. I want to see the best players out there, obviously, but that's just a selfish point of view. And it is a long season, and this year in particular for our All Blacks, it is a very long and demanding year with that South Africa tour and all those internationals. So I get it for sure. Geez, one thing we didn't talk about just then, which does frustrate me, and I get it. I like it, but I don't. Referee coming out after saying,
oh, yeah, that is a big point.
Tupo Vati wasn't a try. Like, if I was a player, hearing that would piss me off. I respect the clarity, and you kind of want that confirmation that it wasn't. But also, you telling me they would have bet the Chiefs and kicked off round one with a big win at home? Like, shit, I don't know. I'd rather not know in a way, but I also get the accountability and addressing it because you need clarification, and it's good for the coaches and stuff to know. But, yeah, you'd be a little bit stinging. Yeah, lights up social media,
you would. I find it hard because it's a lose-lose for Super Rugby, in my opinion, because they announce it that they got it wrong, and you get backlash saying the Blues would have won, which is correct. If you don't make that adjustment, there's just so much room for people discussing, like, there's no clarity on it. We can't have it both ways as fans. Like, if you want the TMO to be involved less, you're going to get things wrong. So if the TMO comes in on the weekend, they rule that out, and people go, oh, it took 10 minutes to rule it out, it's slowing the game down, blah, blah, blah. But then you can't then complain that they've told you that they've got it wrong because they're getting rid of the TMO and they want to make the product better.
No, that's fair.
So what do you actually want?
Yeah, I like the ref making the wrong call. I like that. I'd rather that than the 10-minute stoppage. It's just the announcement after, but then it's good to get clarification, and it's heck of accountability, right? So I like it from that standpoint too. But yeah, I feel like the issue was dying on you Monday Arvo, Tuesday morning, and people were starting to move on from it, and then it reignites it, right? Brings it back up. But
do you think referees should front the media after a game?
Because I've heard conference would be interesting.
Not like, I'm thinking just like if there's a big call like that, and the media wanted to ask Ben O'Keefe a question of why was this decision made? Do you think they should have to front?
I don't know. It's an interesting one because they have as bigger or possibly more of a determination on the result than the players who have to front the media. So
and the coaches.
And even
the CEOs.
Like a Monday morning, like, this is why I made this call, going through like the 10 biggest calls from their game, just would be interesting to hear their perspective from it. But maybe test matches or something like that, like a Rugby World Cup final. Imagine having the ref been Sam Cane in that Rugby World Cup final. Wayne Barnes just front the media and be like, this is why I did it. Barnes.
Yeah, I don't know whether it gets anywhere, but like I said, it's a lose-lose situation, and because if you make those decisions and you don't have the TMO, you're going to get people complaining that you got the wrong decision.
Yeah.
But then if you bring the TMO in, it's people complaining that the product's flawed. So it's a lose-lose in my opinion.
Yeah, agreed.
Let's move on to some other stuff. T20 World Cup. Australia are out.
Oh,
the great rivals are out.
So good. There's fewer things I like seeing more than Australia lose, in particular in cricket. Don't mind them in certain sports, but cricket, they just really piss me off. And for it to go down, lost to Zimbabwe, then it gets rained off the Zimbabwe Island game, and off they go packing. You just love to see it. Steve Smith flew over, didn't play a game. Like that.
They should have picked him in the first place.
They should have picked him in the first place. I think it's the first time since 2009 they've missed the playoffs in a Cricket World Cup of any format. You just love to see it, personally. I'm so stoked that they're gone. I'm stoked that we are in the mix. We're in the Super 8. I think we're a genuine chance, eh?
literally just got to avoid India at all costs.
Literally. And I was so excited last night watching Ravindra get some runs. Like, it was good to see him find some form that was perfect. I was a little bit nervous when Canada got off to a hot start.
100 from the opener.
Yeah. I was like, oh shit. My group chats were like, no, we are not going to lose this game, surely, because that probably would have been us potentially gone too. But good to see us through. Good to see Ravindra scoring runs. Not sure when our first game is in the Super 8, but yeah, I'm all into this tournament. I think our openers are looking good. I'm pretty happy with how the lads have tracked through, and hopefully we get Lockie Ferguson back.
Yeah, so our first game in the Super 8, we're in Group 2, which is, so there's 4 teams in each group. New Zealand will play Pakistan or USA / Netherlands or Namibia. So whoever comes out of this little group with USA, Netherlands or Namibia. So Pakistan play the winner of those games.
Gotcha.
And then we play the winner of that in the first game. And then our second game is, that first game is Sunday morning, 2:30. So Saturday night.
Push through.
It's a bit of a push through. And then this next one is against Sri Lanka on Wednesday night, but Thursday morning at 2:30 a.m.
They bet Aussie too, right? So
And then our last game is next Saturday at 2:30 a.m. So Friday night against England. So we've avoided India at this current rate.
Love that. Does that mean we'll get
But I'm pretty sure that then means that if we get through, it's the semi-final we would make.
Right, okay. Well, fingers crossed in a semi we don't play India and we get to meet them in the big dance. Either way, I like our odds against all of those teams, right?
We don't have to play them until the semi-final if we get that far.
Yeah, and Pakistan got toesed up by India, so I'd back us in to beat them. Right, T20 World Cup. This is where it gets interesting, and I think we're in a pretty good position. So hopefully Lockie Ferguson can have his baby shortly and get back to join the team, because I think he could be clutch at the end. Happy days. Enjoy the derby, mate.
Yeah, it's going to be good. Wow, it could be good, or it also could be very bad if Wellington win their first one. They haven't got a point yet.
No, you're coming second, right, in the league. Wellington near the bottom of the table, and AFC have dominated these clashes.
Yeah, they're yet to lose one or yet to even lose a point in one. So there's talks of a bit of a mental block.
Okay.
But I don't know. We'll see this weekend. If they're going to win one, they've got Sarpreet Singh now, Bill Tuiloma as well. So if they're going to win one, it could be this one. Auckland FC not having their best season, and it's their second one and their second. So it's not all doom and gloom. But yeah, it should be an interesting watch.
Shit, we'll enjoy it, mate. Warriors fans, enjoy the game and enjoy your Super Rugby. Plenty of sport. We'll catch you back here Monday, Arvo, to run through it all next week. But go well. Enjoy your weekend.